the unveiling of the marker, and I've asked Mary Cummings. You can see that on this side it talks about the history of the marker and about the Canadian Louis Armstrong, who started the pageant up in Canada and then brought it down here to Round Lake. And then on this side you'll see a different text which talks about the pageant and the goes a little bit more into Longfellow's words here, as well as what the pageant might have looked like out here on Round Lake.
Historical Commission Commissioner Tom Truscott. He was a history teacher and athletic director at Potterville High School for 35 years. He retired in 1996 from a career that included many awards, specifically for coaching, and was inducted into the Michigan High School Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame and into the Greater Lansing Area Sports Hall of Fame. From 1996 to 2002, Mr. Truscott was an active member of the Docent Guild at the Michigan Historical Center in Lansing, participating in the training and continuing education committees, as well as the development of the educational outreach programs and Michigan Week. He was also nominated to serve as president of the Guild in 2000 to 2002. In 2001, Governor John Engler appointed Mr. Truscott to serve on the Michigan Historical Commission, an advisory board that supports the Michigan Historical Center, Michigan Department of Natural Resources. He continues to serve as member of the commission. Tom, usually accompanied by his wife Joyce, who is here. Thank you, Joyce. Has donated countless hours to dedicate over 80 Michigan historical markers located throughout Michigan. That is so worth him being here. And this is the best part. He considers each and every marker dedication to be the best one ever, and so we're so happy to provide the best marker dedication ever. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Tom Truscott. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Traffic was a little heavy. I almost got ran over by a bike. I could have ended with a broken ankle. I am honored to be here, honestly, and what a beautiful day. And I have been around Petoskey a few times. I did the Big Rock nuclear plant down by Charlevoix. I think I was here a month ago doing the St. Francis Solanas Indian mission, and it's wonderful to be in Petoskey. And what an introduction. I don't know if I ever did all those things, but it sounds good. One of the things when I do a historic marker, Laura Ashley was the head of the marker program for 21 years, and she wrote this book and put all of the historic markers up until the time that we were kind of shifted from being under the HAL program, History, Arts, and Library, to the Department of Natural Resources. And now she's in preservation. But she does a fabulous job. And generally when I start a marker, I'd like to read something that she put in her book, in her introduction. Although one could think that marker applicants look back, I think they look to the future. Certainly they feel tied to the town settlers, or the church founders, or the school children who came before them. But in fact, the marker is about the future. It's about continuity. It's about education. It's about fostering understanding for what people experience as they built lives, communities, industries, and a nation. It's about appreciation for what we have now. And it's about doing something to build an appreciation for history, so that people who read the marker now and in the future will also feel connected to those who came before. And when I think about this marker and the pageant and that, you were developing the economy. You were bringing people in. And by doing this production and the play and so forth. I think Longfellow would have been pleased with that. And I have a friend that lives in Lansing by us, and he said, I remember singing the song of Hiawatha when I was in elementary school. And my wife reminded me that when she was in elementary school, she sang this song. And I wrote it down. When I hear the song of Hiawatha, then I dream about an island grand. I see those woodland trails I used to wander in Michigan, that water wonderland. Every wave that breaks at Gitchigumi seems to say, won't you come back again? There is always something new from Muskegon to the Sioux in Michigan, that water wonderland. And we are so blessed to be in Michigan and have this wonderful state. And when I did the marker at St. Francis down the road, I was overcome by the Native Americans and who lived here, and their whole world centered around the natural resources of the area. And you looked out and you saw Grand Traverse Bay, and you saw the water that gave them the transportation and the light. And then you saw the land and the birch that gave them the powers to move around from place to place. And all of this. And it was all so natural. And then I drove up here today, and I thought, sometimes maybe we should go back to when it was a much simpler life and enjoy. And so you have a wonderful, wonderful place for the monument. And on behalf of the state of Michigan and the Michigan Historical Commission, I would like to dedicate the Hiawatha Pageant and the Hiawatha Marker to you. And who would receive it?
I accept the marker on behalf of everyone associated with the funding and planning of the Michigan Hiawatha Historical Marker, but especially for the people of Emmett County and all the future visitors to the site throughout Michigan and beyond. May the professionalism and the magnitude of this incredible Hiawatha production nearby on Barney's Pond over 100 years ago be always remembered for years to come, as it was billed as the #1 summer resort tourist attraction in the U.S. from 1905 to 1915. This journey could not have been successful without the incredible team effort of so many people and organizations. Our special thanks to a young Michigan State student theater term paper, which started the whole process and just happened to be my daughter, Angie Brannigan, to Rick Wiles and his incredible white paper and Hiawatha pageant presentation, to Tom Graham and the use of his outstanding postcard collection, to Patty Granis and her encouragement to look at the bike trail location and apply for the historical marker, to Kim Forbes and the Sault Ste. Marie Canada Museum, to help from local historians Carla Buckmaster and Jane Cardinal and the Cross Village Museum, to letters of support to the Historical Commission from Tom Bailey, Director of the Little Traverse Conservancy, and Tammy Dorenberg, Director of the Emmett County Planning and Zoning, to Candace Fitzsimmons and her help early 20 years ago, as well as now through the Bay Harbor Foundation, to Beth Ann Eckerly and her Board of Directors for the publication of Dr. Green's Hiawatha Pageant article and the Essence of Emmett Award presented to the Petoskey Area Antiques Club, to Laurie Gaetano and Sandy Hansen, Director and Assistant Director of the Emmett County Parks and Recreation Department, to Emily Myoson, Community Planner and Trailways Coordinator, and to Steve Biggs, President, and Jeff Weingard, Director of the Top of Michigan Trails Council, to Frank Edwajicek, Director of the Michigan Tribe Council, and to Eric Hemingway, Director of Repatriation Archives and Records of the Little Traverse Band of Ottawa Indians, and to Simon Otto, to Rick and Julie Pierpont, Pierpont Productions, to Jane Garver and Dylan Taylor and the Little Traverse Historical Museum, to Drew Chevron, Reference Librarian at the Petoskey District Library, and to committee members Denise Evans, Judy Landis, Mary Driggs, Diane Kahn, and acknowledging the incredible grant writing efforts of Denise Evans, with support by Mary Cummins and the Harbor Springs Area Historical Society for the marker. And lastly, to the DVD participants over 20 years ago, who were Simon Otto, Candace Fitzsimmons, Angie Cranny Cooper-Smith, Julia Terry, Eileen Voorhees, Joseph Craig, Harold Tenney and his incredible hand-drawn map showing where the stadium and stage were, Mirth Hall, Irene Gordon, Mary Geisinger, honor of the Hiawatha Inn, Gladys Whaley, Zelda Gilman, and Olga Baum. And special thanks to Mike Perdoco and his crew for installation of the marker. Please join me in thanking this outstanding team of organizations, people who made this possible.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming out today. We're really honored to have such good turnout, and glad that Tom could make it, and Frank as well. Thank you very much. You know, we're a small club, but we had a big idea, or rather, I should say, someone here had a big idea, and we're really happy that it came to fruition and that it's been done. I know what it's like now to walk the red carpet. You know,
Don't take my
it's kind of like being on a reality show.
So whenever I talk about